Who is this dude, Trey Lance, that all the NFL analysts keep talking about? How the heck did North Dakota State get another first round top 10 quarterback? Big Ten schools, come on now. Stop letting him fall through the cracks.
What the hell is going on?
Those are the things I've been thinking about every time I turn on NFL draft coverage this time of year and they talk about the quarterback position. Trey Lance, widely regarded as the fourth quarterback in this draft. And if you're like me, you consider yourself a football fan, watch a lot of football, yet you've never even seen this kid, Trey Lance, throw a football. Don't worry, we're all in the same boat. I watched a bunch of footage. I broke down 4 areas I like about his game, 4 areas I don't like about his game. We're gonna discuss all those in today's video. What's up, everybody? What's going on? My name is Max Browne, current football analyst, former quarterback at USC in Pittsburgh. Thanks for checking out my channel. This is the second video of a little NFL QB draft series that I'm doing. If you missed Zach Wilson's video, be sure to check it out. I'll link it up above. If you've been enjoying the content, it would mean a lot if you consider hitting the subscribe button, hit the like button as well if you enjoyed this video. But without further ado, let's dive in. So the first time I heard about Trey Lance was the beginning of last summer. I always kind of scroll through quarterback prospects to say, all right, who are the type of guys that can make a huge jump if they have a great college football season and be a potential first, second round quarterback and a guy we're talking about this time of year. Anytime an FCS quarterback is on that list, it catches your eye a little bit. So the intrigue started at the beginning of last summer, and then the intrigue doubled down when North Dakota State announced they were going to have a 1-game showcase with Central Arkansas. But I'll be honest, right when I heard that announcement, I didn't like the idea of that, because when you have a guy who is kind of an under-the-radar prospect, you throw him out there for 1 game, 4 quarters, that's it. Right away I was like, man, I hope this kid doesn't press too much. I hope he doesn't try to be Superman and have every throw be something that NFL scouts are drooling about. And unfortunately, there was a little bit of that in that 1-game showcase against Central Arkansas, which we'll talk about in this video. But Trey Lance had an unreal 2019, extremely productive, won a championship, got it done. In 2020, he has the most unique landscape of all the quarterbacks at the top end of the draft. He got 1 game, the rest of them got some resemblance of a full season. Certainly not ideal for an under-the-radar prospect trying to prove himself, trying to grow in that position, and trying to be a top 10 NFL draft pick. But starting with the areas I like about his game, the first area I love about Trey Lance is his arm strength.
Reaction this time for Lance. He's going to take a shot deep for Watson. DeAndre Lamont.
The dude's got an arm. There's a reason scouts are driving to North Dakota. They're not doing that for any other FCS quarterbacks out there. And there's been a lot of productive FCS quarterbacks over the years. But why Trey Lance? A big reason is his arm strength. When he's throwing the ball, he looks like an NFL prospect. There isn't a throw on the field that Trey Lance cannot make. And his story is a little bit interesting. If you dive into his background, he was recruited as kind of a safety, linebacker, receiver, kind of just a sheer athlete prospect. And usually when a prospect is like that, they might be a little rough around the edges with their just quarterback traits in general. And I don't think that's the case with Trey Lance. He's got all the arm strength you want. And we talked about it in the Zach Wilson video if you missed that. Arm strength is the fun, sexy thing to talk about. I certainly could see a couple NFL GMs falling in love with Trey Lance because of the way he can spin the rock. The second area I love about the former North Dakota State quarterback is his mobility / athleticism. And there's a reason I incorporate the little slash there.
3rd and 23 for North Dakota State. Lance on the move. Trey Lance. Trey again. Touchdown.
Lance design run. Sneaking through a hole. Look at the strength of Lance. And now the speed down the sideline. Stips arms the man at the 20. Lance, his first design run up the middle. Lance showing off the wheels to the 30.
This aspect of his game stands out right away when you turn on the film. A few years back, North Dakota State had some run concepts for Carson Wentz, and I always wondered how that was going to translate in the NFL. Obviously, Carson Wentz is nowadays a true pocket passer, but at North Dakota State, he run the rock a little bit, and that same system happened with Trey Lance over the past couple of years, but Trey Lance is more mobile and more athletic than Carson Wentz. And the reason I did the mobility / athleticism is I think there's a lot of quarterbacks out there that are mobile, especially in this day and age, but But the athleticism part, when Trey Lance drops back and he's going through his progressions and things kind of break down around him or he gets rushers around him, his athleticism just jumps out. You can tell that he rolls with hits. He's able to get down. He's able to make some cuts. He's not just necessarily faster than the guy across from him, but he might be more physical, more athletic, and he just looks like a sheer athlete back there in the pocket. As opposed to, say, compare it to Kyler Murray, that dude's just straight mobile. That dude's just straight dual threat. With Trey Lance, you just get the sense that this is just a guy that, hey, he could be good at any sport he's playing, and he just happens to be back there in the pocket, and he's just making plays. To give you some numbers to back this mobility point, in 2019, like I said, the last full season he had, he ran for 14 touchdowns and 1,100 yards. Anytime you're a quarterback getting over the 1K mark, that means you got some wheels, that means you got some mobility to your game. I will say this, I do have one concern about this aspect of his game. Like I mentioned, North Dakota State's offense designed runs for him to run in college. But I don't think he is that elite of an athlete to have that be a consistent part of his game in the NFL. I made a similar point in another recent breakdown I did with Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is a guy in college that if it was 3rd and 6, you could call a design quarterback run and he could run over a linebacker for the first down. Fast forward to the NFL, you don't really see that as part of Jalen Hurts' game. Yes, he can do it from time to time, but it's not a consistent thing with the Eagles offense to call design quarterback runs for Hurts to run over a linebacker. I put Trey Lance in a similar mold. In terms of mobility, I view him as kind of a poor man's Cam Newton a little bit, where he's fast. He actually might be faster than Cam Newton, but he's not as just brute strong as Cam Newton. Cam Newton can run over an NFL linebacker. I don't know if Trey Lance is that level of 6'5", 260 athlete that is telling you to, hey, buckle up your chin strap. And so Trey Lance, a lot of design runs in college, especially in 3rd down situations. And a big question for me is when he cannot fall back on his mobility to get him out of a tough situation, a la 3rd and 4, 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7, you got to pick up a first down. How does his game translate over when it's no longer on his legs, but it's got to be on his right arm to pick up that first down? The third trait I love about Trey Lance's game is he is strong in the pocket.
This afternoon. Lance backside heat. Oh, he felt him coming and shook off the would-be set.
The comp that comes straight to mind in terms of being strong in the pocket is a young Big Ben for me. Big Ben's always been strong in the pocket, right? He just sits there, he'll take hits, he might be banged up week in and week out, and he finds a way to battle in the pocket. But more specifically, younger Big Ben, where he had the ability to shrug off 300-pound defenders, and even if they had a hand on his shoulder or his hip or chest, he was able to shake them off and make a throw. As you just saw in those clips, Trey Lance has that same ability. There's being quick in the pocket, there's being mobile in the pocket, there's being efficient in the pocket, but I would say being strong in the pocket means when defenders are around you, when they're literally touching you, when the pocket's shrinking in, can you find a way to muscle your way out of it or athlete your way out of that? Trey Lance certainly has that ability, and if he's drafted to a team with a lesser offensive line, he's certainly going to have to lean on this characteristic. And the last area I love about Lance's game is just kind of a general comment. He looks pretty. And that might be weird to say. I think football fans, you know what I mean. And it's similar to my point earlier about arm strength, but I really wanted to circle back to that because it's more than just arm strength. When you turn on the film, and yes, you know you're watching an FCS team, and the competition's not like it is in the Power 5, but when you turn on the film, Trey Lance just looks like a dude. And there's times when I'm watching the footage, especially when they do the end zone view, and I can see the ball spin out of his hand, it looks like a video game throw. And what I mean by that is, have you ever seen a duck in a video game? I've never seen a duck, a wobbly throw thrown in a video game. No, they're always perfect spirals. And Trey Lance, there's clips where he's sitting in the pocket, even when he's moving back there in the pocket, he gets the ball out of his hand and he's able to get momentum towards his target and rip one. That thing looks pretty. When everything's aligned perfectly, and that's kind of the big asterisk right there. You gotta get things aligned. But when you can do that and he's comfortable like he was back in 2019 at North Dakota State, he's a prospect that just has a tendency to just make plays. Arm strength, mobility, athleticism, strong in the pocket, and looks pretty are the four areas I like about Trey Lance's game. But as you guys know, with the good also comes the bad, or at least areas of concern for me, and I have four of those. The first one for me is Trey Lance has a longer motion than some of the other quarterbacks at the top of the draft. And as I'm talking, I'll overlay some clips to show you what I'm talking about. But it certainly has a dip down and around, and then he's able to throw the ball. A lot of times when we talk about long motions and evaluating draft prospects, at least for me, Tim Tebow is like front of mind. It's not even close to that. But it is long enough that it's worth bringing up. And in the same token, when I watch the film, for a guy of the stature of Trey Lance, he has more batted balls than I wish. One of those things, batted balls, it's no one's like fault. You're not breaking down the film and saying, oh, that's on the quarterback, or oh, that's on the tackle. And sure, maybe offensive line coaches will disagree with me and say, hey, you gotta cut the defensive lineman and get his hands down. Sure. But in my experience, it's generally just something that's just kind of like, oh, good play defensive line. So it's hard for me to be overly critical, but at the end of the day, I think his longer motion helps defensive linemen time his throws at the next level. That 1/10 of a second matters in terms of corners and DBs breaking on the ball. When you get to the NFL, they're not gonna fix your motion, right? That should have been done years ago. But I do think this is an area that they're gonna push him to at least tighten up, because it's a little thing, but it certainly could become a big thing if that means he's not throwing the ball on time, or that 2/10 of a second doesn't allow him to be as effective in the quick game. Little area of concern for me right there. Second area of concern for me, I think most people would put this under decision making, but I'm gonna put this more under processing speed and making reads. Before any North Dakota State faithful fans get on me about saying decision making, because Trey Lance didn't even throw a pick, or maybe one pick, I'll have to fact check that. So the idea of all decision making is an area of concern. What are you talking about, Max? To me, it's more making reads and processing speed than it really is true decision making. I'm gonna explain it on the whiteboard. Let's check out the first one right here.
Robert Rochelle back into the game for Central Arkansas, so certainly good news for the Bears. Lance waiting, now he's gonna bomb it deep. Sproles could not haul it in as the ball.
All right there on that one, Trey Lance guns it all the way downfield to the over-the-top post ball, double coverage, and it was an incomplete pass. But it's also a missed read. Right here, North Dakota State's gonna line up in a 2-by-2 formation. Tight end right here, and running back is out. So they have all 5 playmakers out in the concept. This side right here, the right side, this concept is built for cover 4. You take the cover 4 safety right there, and you go over his head right there on a home run shot. But right on the snap of the ball, the defense is kind of giving it away pre-snap, but on the snap of the ball, the safeties roll. Free safety back in the middle of the field, strong safety comes down. Now it's a 1-high picture. Can't run cover 4 in 1-high. So in this look, this side should be out. Or excuse me, this post route should be out. The over-the-top post ball against cover 3 with the middle high safety, it's not gonna happen. A la what we just saw in that clip. Yet with this safety rotation, Trey Lance still tries to force that over-the-top ball. You can still look to the back, but then ultimately come down to the F. And what happens is this Will runs with the back, going here, the mic drops under this curl, and this F coming from left to right, there is absolutely no one in this vacated zone right here with the Will leaving and the mic coming up here. If Trey Lance just takes his eyes down, right in front of his vision, hits the F, gets off this deep post shot, this F's running for a long time, easy first down, if not more. Missed reads happen all the time, but I'm critical on this one because it's not overly difficult with the safety movement being very clear. Let's check out the second example right here.
Extra pressure coming on Lance, and he's swallowed up back at
Play right there. He gets pressured. Looks like it might be the offensive line's fault. No, it's Trey Lance's fault on this one. He's got to get the ball out of his hands. North Dakota State's in a 3-by-1 formation, but this tight end's attached to the line of scrimmage right here. In the TV footage, I can't tell what this outside receiver's doing, so I just left a little question mark right here. But it doesn't matter because when the ball snapped, Trey Lance takes his eyes to the left. He's looking this way. And as we see, it's just kind of a one-man, one-route concept. He feels like he has favorable leverage on this strong safety. He likes his Y matchup. I got no problem with that. He can take that all day. What I do have a problem with is on the snap of the ball, both these linebackers come right away. And in my last breakdown, my Jalen Hurts breakdown, I had a similar criticism of his game at the NFL level. And I mentioned, hey, that's a look you see in college. Well, you see it right here in this North Dakota State game. Both these linebackers drive right in their gaps. And when that happens, replace the blitz with the throw. There is no one in the middle of the field. Trey Lance should feel that pressure, feel that vacated zone, and then also know that his second progression in this read is this Z coming from right to left and replacing this area. So I have no problem with his eyes going to the left, giving his Y a chance to make the corner. But if it's not there, then come come down to this Z, excuse me, or that's how I labeled it, this Z coming from right to left and replacing that vacated zone. This is a read you can't miss at the NFL level. Got to get the ball out of your hands.
Play action for Lance. Rolling and on the run, looking for Phoenix Scrolls, and well.
Another easy misread right there on that play action flood route. This concept right here is a very basic, common concept at all levels of football. North Dakota State's gonna go with I formation, the Y here, tight end here, and 2 receivers to the right. Flood concept means they're gonna flood one area of the zone, or meaning the sideline, this flat area of the zone, and ultimately high-low, one defender with both of these routes. This 12, 15-yard out, and then this fullback arrow route right here. On the snap of the ball, these safeties are going to roll. This free safety is going to match up with this Z right here, and the strong safety is going to roll back. I like the action by Trey Lance right here. He gets outside of the pocket, but right away, it's a very clear picture. It's really a two-man concept. It's 1-2 right here. That's all he's got. And this reads a low to high read. If this F's here right away, first progression, boom, take it. And with this free safety running with this out route, he's covered. And this F is wide open because the Mike has him in coverage right here, yet he has to respect this run fake. So this Mike pauses for a full count. You can almost maybe even say 2 counts. This F out leverages the Mike, so the Mike has to respect the run, and then he has to chase to the sideline. Doesn't have leverage on the F. This F out leverages the Mike. He's open right away. He's still open later on. It's a missed read, something that can't happen.
Lance to throw. Under pressure. Can't get away this time. And coming in.
That one right there, that sack should never happen. North Dakota State in a 3-by-1 formation. Trey Lance recognizes, man, this defense has 1, 2, 3, 4 guys pushed to his left side. Make that 4 better. He only has 3 receivers on that side. That aspect, coupled with the fact that he has just a 1 high safety, means 9 out of 10 times, or shoot, I might almost say 10 out of 10 times, he's going to work back to the boundary and trust his ex-receiver to win this one-on-one matchup. So pre-snap, Trey Lance knows he is not doing anything to the left. He's going to the right. I like how he takes his eyes to the left because he's looking off the safety, right? He doesn't want this safety to be in play. But he hangs too long on the left side. He knows he's throwing this fade route. The ball's got to get out of his hands. And he looks a little robotic when looking off that safety because you get the sense that it's like oh, my coach told me I have to look off the safety and I have to take a 3-step drop. No, you got to play football and you know there's heat coming. You know you're not even entertaining anything over there. You cannot get sacked on this. To hammer the point home even more, if there was literally no offensive line, or I guess you had a center and he just snapped it to you right there and these guys came scot-free right there, I would still say the ball has to get out. All you need to do is just kind of 1-step fade ball, or back shoulder, or just throw it away if you don't like the look. But you cannot take the sack on this play because the read is already made for you pre-snap, and you have an answer right here that allows you to get the ball out of your hands. Can't happen. The third area of concern for me is Trey Lance's accuracy.
Right out of the rule book, Rogers. Thank you. 1st and 10, Lance.
They try to make things happen. Here they come. Lance hangs in there, fires. Oh, wide open man down the field, and it's just overthrown out. Pressure coming on Lance. He hangs in there and looking for Zach Matheson. 26 yards on the pickup, and now a play action. Lance to the end zone. Man streaking. Indorf. Play action for Lance. Throwing on the run and making the sliding.
And when I say accuracy, it's that awkward area where on draft day when they say, hey, strengths and weaknesses, accuracy is not going to be on either. I don't think it's a strength of Trey Lance's. I don't think you're saying, man, this guy is pinpoint accurate. But you're also not saying this guy's really got to hone it in. He's not an accurate passer. He's not in either of those. But because he's in the middle and he's in that gray area, that's why I have to bring it up. Due to the fact that he's not pinpoint accurate, and when you watch the film, it's not like his accuracy jumps off the page at you, it's worth me bringing up because as the level of competition rises and makes that big jump for him from FCS to the NFL, things are faster, players are better, he's not as comfortable as he was in North Dakota State. That's where, hey, gray area accuracy could then turn into, man, this guy's missing throws left and right. And the fourth area of concern for me with Trey Lance is a question, actually. How deep is his playbook? Or how deep was his playbook at North Dakota State? When I turn on the film for Trey Lance, there's a lot of the same concepts, which if you're a North Dakota State fan, that's great, right? You have a consistent scheme. Your offensive coordinator knows what he wants to accomplish. The plays kind of have a theme and a rhythm to them. That's great. Led to a lot of success in college. But if you're an NFL draft scout, or if I'm an NFL team looking to draft Trey Lance, that to me is a bit of a concern because he hasn't been asked to execute the quantity of concepts or schemes on a consistent basis relative to some of the other quarterbacks in this draft class. Like I referenced earlier in this video, I broke down Zach Wilson last week. Be sure to check out that video if you haven't already. Zach Wilson reminds me of a guy who had a deep playbook. He was asked to do a lot. He was asked to really execute everything you need to see at the quarterback position. Under center, shotgun, play action, deep, short, intermediate, on the run, pure progression, the whole deal. If I was a GM, when I walked away from watching Zach Wilson's film, I'd be confident that if I got Wilson, he could execute everything I want to accomplish at the quarterback position. With Trey Lance, I still have some questions. When you turn on the film, it's a lot of seam routes and seam concepts. It's a lot of play action flood concepts, and it's a lot of quarterback design runs, which we've already kind of talked about in an earlier segment. And in the NFL, it's going to be hard to rely on those quarterback runs. It's going to be hard to, all right, 3rd and 4, we got to convert here, big down, let's just run off right tackle with the quarterback with Trey Lance. Can't really do that in the NFL. Maybe here and there, but not consistently. And so with an NFL playbook, and he's asked to execute a wide array of concepts and different quarterback actions, how does that translate over for Trey Lance? The good sign there is Trey Lance well-versed in going under center. If Trey Lance gets with an NFL team that likes going under center, they have a fullback on their roster, they do outside zone concepts with some big play action deep balls, that's to me where Trey Lance can really fit in. If he's going with a scheme where, hey, they're rolling out the whole playbook for him and every single pass concept, he could certainly be fine. But to me, it's an area of concern because that would be a bigger jump relative to his peers in terms of taking in that deep of a playbook. So the 4 areas of concern. First, long motion. Second, I called it processing speed. Others might put it in the family of decision making, but I don't want people to get it confused with decision making, oh, he turns the ball over. No. Third is some accuracy concerns at times. And fourth is just a question. If I was a GM, I would ask Trey Lance this in my meetings and get his thoughts, get a feel for how he answers this. How deep was his playbook at North Dakota State? And if it wasn't that deep, what does that learning curve look like for Trey Lance moving forward? Like I referenced, this is the second QB breakdown in this NFL draft series I'm doing. I did Zach Wilson to start, now I did Trey Lance. And my honest evaluation right now is there's a gap between Zach Wilson and Trey Lance. I don't know if you necessarily would have said that a few months ago. Trey Lance, I certainly could see him being a first-round NFL quarterback. Like we've always heard, it only takes one team to take a chance on him. He's certainly a very intriguing prospect with that upside and a lot of foundational skills that could very well make him a successful NFL quarterback. But there you have it. If you like this video, consider hitting the like button down below. Maybe hit that subscribe button too if you wouldn't mind. And I'll be back for more videos next time. And if you disagree with me, you think I'm crazy, you think I'm wrong, you think I missed something with Trey Lance's game, let me know down below in the comments. Love to chop it up with you guys. But this was fun. Second breakdown of the QB series. Stay tuned for which quarterback's coming next. Thanks, guys. See you soon.